Hi, I'm Roar Uthaug, director of Tomb Raider. Growing up in Norway, my favorite films were the Indiana Jones films. And I also always was a big fan of like strong female characters. So when the first Tomb Raider game came out, I was really blown away by first of all, the gameplay, but also the strong female heroine in this kind of adventure world. And then when I got the notion that they were rebooting this franchise, and I saw what they had done to the game, I was really excited to come on board. To me, it just looked like the perfect movie for me.
Surname?
So what I feel was great about this movie is that it's an origin story. We see how Lara Croft essentially becomes the Tomb Raider. When we meet her, she's a normal girl in East London, and we get to see her grow into the woman she's supposed to be.
Croft?
Well, one of the most important locations to find was, of course, Croft Manor. And we searched all across the UK to find the perfect manor. And I think we found it in Walton House. The place has a great atmosphere, a warmth to it. It has a good size for the Croft family. It's not too grandiose, but it still has this sense of power and history. And through these flashbacks in the movie, we get a sense of the relationship between Lara and Richard, which was really important, as that's kind of the driving force pushing Lara out into the adventure in the movie.
You can pick up where he left off. I see so much of him in
So Lara's dad, Richard Croft, went missing 7 years ago. Lara hasn't been able to kind of get over the loss of her dad. And when we meet her now, she has the chance to declare her father dead in absentia.
Brilliant.
So casting this movie, we wanted to stay pretty close to the 2013 game. And looking at actresses around the world, we found that Alicia Vikander really stood out to us. What's great about Alicia is that she really pushes herself above and beyond. And that's kind of what Lara's doing in this movie as well. Because when she starts out, she's more of a everyday girl. And then in the end, she becomes a survivor and she becomes the Tomb Raider.
To this, then I must be dead.
So this being a Tomb Raider movie, we of course need to have secret crypts, puzzle-solving, mysterious keys, not to mention tombs. And I'm really excited about sharing our tomb with the fans.
A tomb called the Mother of Death. If Trinity succeeds...
And Lara finds out that Richard was onto a mysterious organization called Trinity. And fans might recognize that from the 2013 reboot game.
Our world is in danger. Promise me you will stop them.
I promise.
As Lara Croft is such a loved character, I know it was really important for Alicia to do it justice. And she really studied the games, the movies, and all the history of the character. So Alicia really wanted to take on all that heritage, but also give it a modern-day spin.
I think I know where my dad went.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
It will be an adventure.
One of the most memorable sequences from the 2013 game for me was the Shipwreck of the Endurance. That was one of the scenes I really wanted to have in this movie. So even though our endurance in this movie is a bit different than the game, you'll still recognize the shipwreck in the storm and some of the shots that I felt was very iconic from the game that I wanted to include in the movie. So we built this giant ship on a big gimbal down in Cape Town and really rocked the actors around and threw water cannons. And I think the shoot was really excruciating for the actors, but I think it really paid off in the end result. As Matthias Vogel in the movie, we have Walton Goggins. He was such a wonderful actor to work with and brought so much to the role. I think the fans are really going to be excited about seeing him on screen. I think what we really wanted to tell with this is a survival story. Surviving on a desolate island like this, it felt like the bow and arrow was the natural weapon for Lara. And it also plays such a huge part in the game. So the bow and arrow was the natural weapon of choice for Lara. Preparing for the role, Alicia had to go through both physical training, stunt training, and we wanted her to do as much of her own stunts as possible. So she was hanging on wires, leaping, diving, swimming, and getting thrown around a lot.
What do you know about my father?
Now I see the likeness, the recklessness.
And in the game, the climbing axe is a really important weapon. and she uses it a lot to jump, to grab onto stuff, as well as fight. That's definitely something we wanted to include and highlight in this movie as well.
Close the tomb once and for all. The fate of humanity is now in your hands.
Of course, you can't have a tomb without traps, and we've created some really cool traps for this movie. Another sequence that I really loved from the game was the river bomber parachute sequence. So we drew a lot of inspiration from the game for certain set pieces, but then at the same time we wanted to do something new, to not just repeat what we've seen in the game, but to take our own spin on it and make it exciting to watch on the big screen. But a lot of inspiration was taken from the last 2 games. As we didn't want the movie to be too dark, we also wanted to intersect it with some humor. And we got Nick Frost and Jamie Winston to play this lovely pawn shop couple. And we also wanted to pay a little homage to the original movies, Enter the Twin Guns. And I think the fans will recognize the guns as the very guns that Angelina Jolie was using in the original Tomb Raider movies. Well, I hope you enjoyed the trailer, and I hope you're gonna like the film when it comes to cinemas in 2018. Thanks for watching, guys.
I'll take 2.